Oh my goodness. My greatest personality strength. Uh, I, well, it'll sound odd, but I'm not afraid to hurt people's feelings. I think nowadays that feelings have become, I think feelings 200 years ago and feelings now are very different. I think, now because of social media that everybody has become tremendously more sensitive. And now because masculinity, and that's part of the reason masculinity is being considered toxic. And so for me, if, in my opinion, if you truly love somebody or love somebody's soul, you're going to tell them what they need to hear, and you're going to tell them straightforward. And so,
Right.
I've hurt a lot of feelings, but I've helped a lot of people, and eventually people, they get over it. They still have that ability to get over it, and they do.
Yeah. Yeah. I totally agree there. And in fact, I'm probably a little more sadistic because when I'm making with people, I'll tell them, this may hurt your feelings, but I just need to have your permission to do it. I warn them up front that I may say something they don't want to hear, but it's for their own good. And so, just making sure that they can, think as an adult. We don't need to be.
I do the same thing
about it.
Yeah, I do the same thing. I always tell people will ask me a question, and I'll say, "Why are you asking me?" And they say, "Because I know you'll tell me the truth." And so I always say the same thing. All right, you're asking a question. Are you sure that you want me to answer your question? Because I'm not going to sugarcoat it.
Right.
Oh, I get you.
Right. So the flip side of that question would be, what's your greatest weakness, do you think?
My greatest weakness, self-confidence, quite honestly. I am very, very hard. My wife will tell you right now that I am, I will beat myself up and question myself constantly. So I work on that every day.
I can relate with that one. Yeah. Perfectionist and control freak is my thing. So
I'm not a control freak, but
I like to do everything myself, and then I have to have it perfect, and then I'll beat myself up if I don't achieve both.
Yep, I hear
you. Makes life interesting. So when you're brainstorming, is there a special place, Mike, that you go to do all of your brainstorming, your idea getting?
If I can sit down and do it, I'll do it in my office, which is where I'm at right now. But I have a lot of, I live in Montana, and where we're at is, a fairly rural community. And so, and I live about 45 minutes away from where I work. And so I get a lot of windshield time, and no joke, I carry a sticky notepad, and I constantly am bringing home 3 and 4 sticky notes because I had to stop, write something down, keep driving, stop, write something down, keep driving. So I would say between my office and my vehicle.
Yeah. I understand that. I spend tons of windshield time here in North Texas. We can drive 2-3 hours just to get across the metro. So I spend lots of time behind the wheel. So yeah, behind the wheel and in nature, I would say is probably right, but speed.
Nature does help. Yeah. Oh yeah. If we go on vacation is an awesome place to come up with ideas.
Mm-hmm. So if you describe at a very high level what you're doing within your business model, how would you describe that for someone that's wanting to follow in your footsteps and start some of the ventures that you're doing? How would you describe that?
How would I describe how to get into what I'm doing?
Right.
As far as
what you do on it, like on a daily basis, kind of like what your day-to-day looks like.
Well, my day-to-day, what it looks like, I go to work, I come home, and I spend 2 or 3 hours working on my online business or on my podcast. I have my podcast primarily set aside for Saturdays. That's when I sit down and I really put everything together, and then I get it recorded and I get it on. So, the one thing I didn't do as well in the beginning was allot time. There are people who can, you got to decide what kind of person you are. Are you a person who can do a little bit over time, or are you a person who needs a block? Okay.
Right.
What I have found is I'm the type of person who needs a block of time. If I have a half hour to take care of an hour project, I won't do it because I need that hour to finish the project. And so you really first, I would say you need, at a higher level, you need to decide, are you pieces of time or block of time person. And really, do you know what your passion is? And can you fit that passion or that interest into those blocks of time? Do you have blocks of time that A, you're willing to put forth, or B, you're willing to sacrifice? Because there's some time that's just easy to put up. And then there's other time that you're like, oh, but I got this other thing I do. I don't have to do it, but this is important. I'm going to block this here. So really, I would say you need to decide, what's your time management look like? And then does your passion or your interest, the business you want to pursue, fit into that timeline? Or how can I fit it into that timeline? Really, I would say that most. Because if we're looking at an outside the box abundant mindset, you really should look at, how can this fit up? How can this fit into my timeline? Because it's that important. Because if you're not willing to give up, for the older guys, if you're not willing to give up Saturday morning cartoons to follow your dream, then don't bother.
Yeah. And it's a very valuable concept that you put out there. One that I haven't really looked at in those terms of being a block of time versus a smaller chunks of time type person. But, that's really, down and dirty way of looking at it, that it really is, can be that simple. Because, I'm one of those blocks of time kind of people as well, that I can't break things up into small chunks and just do a little bit here, a little bit there. I have to fully invest, get all of my weeds, taken care of, get in the weeds and do it, and then move on to the next thing.
Well, and a lot of guys, I don't think they realize that they're chunks of time or blocks of time people. And so they'll get frustrated because they can't get it done, can't get it done. And it's not occurring to them that, okay, I'm a block of time guy. I need to just set 2 hours aside to get this done. And so they'll fight with it, and finally give up. When in truth, had they just slotted that 2 hours, it'd be done.
Sure. Fair point. Yeah. Hope our listeners are taking notes, because I certainly am. So what's something about you that you say is kind of a trivia thing, something that most people don't know about you?
Something that most people don't know about me?
Yeah.
Can be anything?
Yeah, anything.
Okay, I was afraid of the dark till I was about 16 years old. How's that?
Really?
To the point where I would jump from my light switch to my bed.
Oh, wow.
Now, just so you know, my dad wasn't a nice guy. And when I say this, it's no exaggeration, but he basically told me I was stupid from the time I was born to the time I moved out. And so I was very fearful of a lot of things. But the one thing that I was always very fearful of was the dark, which is funny because now I like horror movies. so I managed to transition. But yeah, till I was 16 years old, I would jump from the light switch to my bed.
Oh, that's interesting. I always love the dark, and now I hate horror movies. So, maybe there's a nice
there you go.
Well, Mike, what's a good way for people to be able to reach out to you? Because, obviously, the listeners are going to want to be able to contact you and, maybe just pick your brain about some different things. So are there some good contact techniques that you like people to get a hold of you?
Yeah, obviously they can. I have all of my contact info on my podcast if they listen to that, which most people go to iTunes for, but it's on just about every platform there is. You can also find me on Instagram. You can find me on Facebook, All the Sedated Man. And you can reach me at my email, which is mike@thesedatedman.com.
Perfect. So listeners, you have that right here, mike@thesedatedman.com, or, just go to the different platforms and look for the Sedated Man and, be able to talk to him and get some more information. Follow that podcast and subscribe to it and get to listen to all that good information that he's throwing out there. Well, Mike, I appreciate you carving out some time today with me, and I'll let you get back to your very busy schedule. And like I say to all the people that come on the program, I thank you for being on, and we'll see you around the bend, my friend.
All right. Thank you. I appreciate it. You guys have a great day.
Looks like you too. You've been listening to Legacy Cast. Thank you for joining us today, and be sure to come back next time as we speak with more top influencers, industry experts, and business owners from around the world.